Hey everyone, how are you? It is another Saturday night with Ping. Uh, I missed my time zone by like an hour. I got caught in the time zone change, even though I knew it was coming. I talked about it yesterday, and somehow I still slept through into the normal time. I don't think my body clock is adjusted just yet. It's going to be a challenge this week to do the 11 a.m. shows, but we will get there. There's no complaints from me. I love being here with you all. Uh, a really interesting episode tonight of Cold Justice. The West Coast premiere just finished about 13 minutes ago. The East Coast premiere finished about 3 hours ago. 3 hours ago? 2 hours ago? Something like that, a couple of hours ago. The West Coast premiere is 3 hours after the East Coast premiere. Really interesting episode on a case that has really been, outstanding in Texas for a long time. Guys, hold on. My cat is such an beep. Every time I jump on this show, it's like, hey, let me go open up all the blinds in the house. Hold on. Sorry, there we go. Every time I jump on the air, he's like, hey, let me open up all the blinds. Let me show the entire neighborhood what you're doing in here. Um, hey, Laura, thank you. I appreciate that. I also want to thank. I'm glad that you're here, Moonshadow. Moonshadow. I woke up this morning and I was like, where are all these emails? Why have I got all these emails in my work, like the work email? And I'm like, what's going on? And I had a thing from Moonshadow. Moonshadow sent through a Ko-fi donation. Moonshadow, that is more than generous, and I am very appreciative. Thank you very much. And same with Joe, Joe BX1. Thank you very much. That is extremely kind of both of you, and that was a big surprise waking up this morning seeing that. So you two are very sweet. Um, let's say hello to everyone. Hey, the Thoris, how are you, my friend? Good to see you again. I hope you've been keeping well. Okay. Have fun. I hope, is it coming from Parramatta Jail? Howdy. I have not heard of Jennifer Six and her toddler, Adriana. No, but we can look it up. But tonight we're doing um, the case from Cold Justice, which is Kimberly Langwell. And it was a really great episode. I'm going to say hello to everyone first before we get into it. I'm going to say hello to Kathy Lynch. Hey, good to see you. She says, I was hoping you'd go live. Of course I'm going to go live. I Hate Mornings, Jojo, Sherry Runs Late, Laura T, Lynn D, Gambler, Moonshadow, Marlene Clausen, Marilyn Landis. Marilyn Landis is here. Marlene Clausen is here. The Thoris. Sean's leaving us for a prisoner phone call. Don't know, maybe it's a secret. Evil Alaska. Jojo says, the cat will add years to your life. Yeah, maybe. I mean, we normally have it all open, just not during showtime. He just loves to sit in that window and get the sunshine. All right. Glad you guys could be here. I know it's late. I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as I can and get you guys off to bed for a Sunday morning. Let me try to get this up here. This case has been 25 years. Another very deep cold case in Texas, apparently. One of the biggest ongoing mysteries. Kimberly's body has never been found. They have never found her. They have found her car in a very odd place. We'll talk about that. Hey, let me turn this on. Hey guys, how are you? Good to see you out there. Really interesting. Sometimes we get episodes and it's all like, it was all right. It was, it's sad for the family and you want justice for them, but it wasn't that compelling or interesting. This one is very compelling. I was very compelled to watch this one. Now, let me get some photos uploaded for you. I just sit there during the show taking screenshots for you. And I wanted to show you something. Two photos, if I can find them. Yes, here is one. Okay, let's use this one. And then I'm going to show you something. And we'll do this one and this one. All right. Hopefully, let me just double check this is the right one. Okay, yes. So I'm going to show you a photo of Kimberly. Here's Kimberly. I think I showed you one of these photos last night. This is from the episode. And I'm going to show you a photo of her daughter. Doesn't she look like her mom? Doesn't she look like a spitting image of her mom? That's her daughter, Tiffany. She was really young at the time, just a teenager. And she had to deal with the fact that her mom was actually coming to meet her for dinner. She was meeting up with her and another person. They were going to have dinner together. And she just never turned up. She just never made it, even though she had called Tiffany to let her know, hey, I'm only I'm leaving work. I'm going to be there shortly. And yeah, she just never turned up. Yeah, right. That's what they said on the show. Like, you can just see her mom in her so much. Like, they just look so much alike. They're just almost cousins, or it is her daughter. So there you go. But they just look so similar. 25 years apart, around the same age, I think they would be. So really, really lovely ladies. And I have a photo of the lady who ended up raising Tiffany. She ended up, after her mum went missing, her sister stepped in and raised her. And I think that is extremely beautiful. The fact that she would do that, take on her sister's child. And this is her sister here. And she looks like Tiffany too. They just have great genetics, apparently. Here's her sister. This is the lady who raised Tiffany after her mum went missing. And she was on the episode tonight as well. Not for very long, but she was here on the episode. Yeah. What a lovely lady. And I mean, what a tragic situation. But I wanted to show that too because it stunned me just how similar they are. Um, so here we go. It says, it's been nearly a quarter of a century since the 34-year-old single mother Kimberly Langwell vanished. Authorities in Texas are a giant step closer to getting her loved ones answers. Kelly Siegler teamed up with homicide investigator Abby uh, Abadanello, I can't pronounce that, and headed to Beaumont, Texas, about 80 miles northeast of Houston near the Gulf of Mexico. Olay. To investigate Langwell's 1999 disappearance. Now, they actually did an overhead shot of this area, and the homicide investigator was saying he had worked in this area when he was younger in his career, and he said if there was anywhere in Texas that you wanted to dump a body, he's like Beaumont would be like the most perfect place. It has so much you know, waterways and bushland and places people, humans just never go. And he goes, the humidity is just oppressive at times. He said a body wouldn't last very long out here. And he was saying that, yeah, it was like literally the perfect place to dump a person's remains, unfortunately. They said here, Kim was really pretty with a magnetic personality. She raised her 15-year-old daughter Tiffany on her own, and after recently ending a relationship, she had a new boyfriend and she was excited about the next chapter of her life. We'll talk a bit more about these boyfriends as we go along. It says, tragically, as covered by Cold Justice, airing Saturdays at 8, 7 Central on Oxygen, Langwell would never be seen again. She was on her way home. Well, not her way home. She was on her way to have dinner with her daughter. It says Kimberly Langwell never made it home. Here's another photo of her here. Another different photo um, of of her around that time. Again, she looks so much like her daughter. The skin color is like just brutal. Guys, hold on. Sorry, I didn't realize all this was off. There we go. Let's get back into it. It says on July 9th, 1999, Langwell planned to meet her new boyfriend, Ken Weatherford, and her teen daughter after returning from her job at a local chemical plant. She left work at 5 p.m., called Tiffany about 15 minutes later, explaining she had to stop off at the home of her ex boyfriend, then 42-year-old Terry Rose, but expected to be home about 6:30 p.m. That's a good timeline, right? According to Detective Wilson, Langwell then told her daughter she planned to help Rose hang up boards as part of a home remodeling project Rose had undertaken. When Langwell failed to return home that evening, Weatherford traced the route Langwell would have taken. He found no signs of his girlfriend, but he found her lone car in a parking lot of the Eckerd Pharmacy. Langwell's purse and keys were still inside the vehicle. Suspicious, right? She didn't say she was going to go anywhere. She said she was going to go to the ex-boyfriend's or, ex-partner's home, help him hang up a couple of, boards or whatever. And then she was going to come straight home to the daughter. They're going to eat their dinner or whatever and, catch up. They said here, we can't rule out the possibility that Kim stopped at the drugstore on her way home and was abducted by an unknown suspect, but the investigation always centered around the known suspects in her world. That's sort of how they do investigations, right? They don't just go, yes, it was some unknown person, it was an alien abduction. No, they start from the inside and they work outside until they can eliminate everything on in the person's inner circle or life. They don't go to the outside unless there's some sort of compelling evidence that they have to. Like they're like, oh no, we have CCTV of a person killing them, and it's not part of their family; it's some random person. That's different. But when you're working something that has very little information, yes, they start from the inner circle of the person and work out. It says Ken Weatherford Langwell's current boyfriend at the time of her disappearance was quickly ruled out as a suspect, but investigators looked into two others, including Rose, with whom Langwell lived with for 7 years. Rose managed a wrecking yard and towing operation in Beaumont. This will become a big thing a little later on. And he and Langwell broke things off about 6 months before Langwell vanished. A towing operation and a random car. Suspicious? Coincidence? I don't believe in coincidences. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it is a little sus, right? You got someone who may be a suspect. They know how to tow a car around, and then her car just randomly ends up in a car park where she wasn't supposed to be. It says Sergeant Tomeo said witnesses called Rose infatuated and obsessed with Langwell. It was also documented that Rose once admitted to slapping Langwell across the face. Apparently, Rose had an affair with one of Kim's friends, which prompted the breakup. Though Langwell and Rose broke things off, Rose regularly gave money to Langwell, perhaps as a means of continuing a relationship with his ex. Not only did he give Langwell a phone, but he also gifted her $500 to take a trip to Cancun in Mexico. There's a funny thing about this little story about the $500 in Mexico. Apparently, he was under the impression that it was going to be her and some girlfriends, like going on sort of like a girls' weekend. They're going to, go get drunk, look at hot guys or something. Um, But that's not what happened. That trip was with another man. She had gone with her current boyfriend at the time or love interest at the time, and then he found out that that money he gave to her for this girls' weekend was actually so she could go down with her new flame and, have a raunchy weekend in Mexico. And he was not happy. I can imagine, and I get it. I would be pretty upset too, but probably shouldn't be giving your ex-wife money. She doesn't want you no more. Why are you being why are you simping to her like that? Don't give her no cash. Let her get her own money if she wants to go away. But hey, it did happen, and they think it could have been an aggravating factor in this whole disappearance that he was really angry over the fact that, well, maybe she's moved on. Maybe she's just using me for money. And she lied to me, hey, you told me this was gonna be a girls' weekend, and you end up going down with another fella, and, I had to find out like this, that you used my money to go down and have a romantic weekend away. So here it says, "But before Cold Justice team looked deep into Langwell and Rose's post-breakup interactions, they investigated Langwell's co-worker, 49-year-old Frank McCormick. McCormick worked as one of Langwell's supervisors at the chemical plant, a married man with a reported obsessive crush on Langwell. Yeah, he was a bit of a weird dude. and we're going to talk about this in a second. It says in 1999, McCormick sent Langwell numerous love letters, which Langwell left with a friend for safekeeping. She'd sort of done it in case she was ever fired for some reason. And she was like, well, I can kind of keep these as an ace in my pocket. Should I ever need to, I guess, defend myself or defend my job, should anything ever happen, but not in the way like, should I ever disappear? It was more like, should, I ever get fired for inappropriate workplace or, something like that. And this guy was a little weird. Now I'm going to show you a photo of him. Actually, let's do that. Let's show you this guy from her work. They have him on the show, they interview him, and I'm going to show you a photo of what he looks like today in the interview room. Here he is. I'm going to show you. This is him being interviewed for Cold Justice 25 years later. He does not look that much different. There he is in the interview room. Now, this is a very interesting setup in an interview room. You can see that they have two detectives here, one on either side, and then him on the back end of the room with his back up against the wall. This is a strategic way they do it. They are not giving him an out, so to speak. The exit is behind them. So they're giving him that feeling of being pushed up against the wall, and I think it's something so they hope that maybe he'll crack under the pressure, give information, that type of thing, But it didn't work. He interviewed okay. He We'll go into it a bit later, but he didn't interview that great. He was just a bit odd. He's a little quirky. He says he doesn't remember the letters. How do you not remember writing like 50 love letters to a woman at your work that would be considered an inappropriate relationship? He says, oh, no, I don't remember any of that. Never heard of such a thing. I think I wrote one letter one time. And they're like, what about 50 letters 50 times? And he's like, I don't remember anything like that. It's a motive. Could be. Could be. We'll find out as we go along. It says, the family and friends' opinion on Terry Rose. Let's see what they say. Here's the man that she was going to meet up with that night. He was with her daughter, and they were going to have dinner together. He's the guy who found her car in the parking lot, and now he's not a suspect in any way. He's been cleared. He's actually a pretty nice dude, and cared deeply about her and the daughter. And yeah, he was the one who found her vehicle. Actually, very very awful. He was like, "Why is her car here? Like she's supposed to be coming straight home." It says Wilson and Tomeo paid a visit to Langwell's now adult daughter, Tiffany, who lived with Langwell's sister, Susan. Following Langwell's disappearance, she recalled the first few years being the hardest, describing the pain of reaching milestones throughout her teenage years and early adulthood without her mother by her side. What is going on here? Hey, we're trying to do a show. Hey, cat. It says, when asked about Terry Rose, Tiffany said, I didn't want him around. Apparently, her mother would lie to her about Terry because um, the mum knew that Tiffany didn't like him. So if the mum was seeing him for any reason, she just wouldn't bring it up. She would just, not tell her because she knew it would start a fight with her daughter. So you can read it here. It says, she says, I had a huge problem with Terry, and she knew that. He would be forceful with her to let her know that he can be in control. So I was uncomfortable with that. According to Butts, which is the lady who raised Tiffany after she. Oi, hold on, guys. Oi, why are you guys acting like this? I fed you already. The cats are acting a bit weird. Hold on, guys. I'll keep talking to you, but I'm going to have to shoo her away. It says, according to Butts, Rose was upset because he lent Langwell $500 for the Mexican holiday, a trip Langwell said she had planned with her girlfriends from work. Instead, she took the trip with her new boyfriend, Ken Weatherford, and Rose caught wind of her alleged deception. Later, Weatherford sat with Detective Wilson and explained that he and Langwell met at work and had been dating for 3 months before she vanished. Weatherford said they'd just returned from Cancun and remembered Langwell wearing a Cancun t-shirt on the day she disappeared. Weatherford said she didn't want to be around Rose anymore. She told me that. Friends including Terry Grigg said They knew about Rose's possessiveness over Langwell. There we go. Trying to read too fast. Terry was always hounding her. I mean, he would not let go. I know that he intimidated her a lot. That's not a good trait in a relationship to intimidate the other person. Doesn't matter if you guys are still together, not together, whatever. Intimidation is not on. It says a deeper dive into an obsessed boss. That's the guy I showed you in the interview room. It's investigator says McCormick penned numerous letters to Langwell, many of which McCormick professed his love. McCormick even offered to set aside thousands of dollars so that Langwell and Tiffany could take a trip to Europe. He explains this in the interview that, oh, I didn't actually say I'd give her any money. I had a lot of frequent flyer miles from work that I had saved up and I wanted to give it to her. All right, guys, hold on. I am sorry, guys. I had to lock the door again. These cats. Okay, here. Investigators said McCormick penned numerous letters to Langwell, many of which McCormick professed his love. McCormick even offered to set aside the thousands of dollars that we just spoke about. Like I said, he explains it that it was not thousands of dollars, it was frequent flyer miles. And he was just doing it to be nice because he went to France so often that he wanted to share that experience with a coworker who he knew had like a young daughter. Maybe they didn't get those opportunities in life, and he was just trying to be, an upstanding gentleman. I don't think so. You and your 50 love letters don't say upstanding work friend. They say obsessive, creepy dude at work. It says here, however, McCormick had an alibi. He did. Receipts from 1999 place him at a local grocery store. Even in his interviews with Cold Justice investigators, McCormick confirmed that he purchased chips and other items for a poker game he had hosted. An alibi supported by apparently they reckon about 8 witnesses. So he couldn't have been there that night. He is just a bit of a weird guy who took it a little too far with an obsession with a woman at work. And, she was very, very good looking. And I think she attracted a lot of male attention from many different directions. Uh, you know, Probably in today's workplace environment, you did anything like this, he would have been fired in an instant. You can't do stuff like this anymore. I'm surprised even in 1999 they would have let it go. But today, you send a love letter that's unrequited, they will pull you into HR so fast it'll make your head spin. I mean, they just don't allow this kind of stuff anymore. So it's interesting to hear something from 25 years ago that went on for so long and wasn't reported to HR. But yeah, McCormick admitted he had a little crush on Langwell, claiming he couldn't remember writing the letters after so many years. And he's in his older years now. Maybe he can't remember, but something tells me he was downplaying it because he had a lot to lose. He had a professional reputation at the time. He was a manager, supervisor. He had a wife too. And I think he was trying to downplay his obsession with a work person to save embarrassment for himself and his wife, and probably his career. So that's what they came up with too. They were saying that, they didn't think there was anything nefarious there. It was more just this dude was being inappropriate and yeah, he was just down he's not downplaying it because he murdered her. He's just downplaying it to save himself. He says here, the Cold Justice team said, I think his emotional response in the interview was odd, but there's nothing that came from that interview that led me to believe that he had any part in her disappearance. No, he was fairly open. He was open to most questions. He looked okay in the interview, even though he was a little odd. But even 25 years ago, people described his demeanor as a little quirky. So it says here, Cold Justice interviews Terry Rose. Yes, and I'm going to show you him what he looks like today. Here, let me show you what he looks like today when they interviewed him on the show. Which photo should I use? I got a few. This is probably a good one. Okay. This is him when they caught him. He was trying to avoid them. They called out to him. He actually tried to leave the property, but they were actually able to cut him off. And then when they approached him, they were like, "Hey, were you trying to avoid us?" And he's like, "No, no, I didn't hear you. I've got bad hearing. I didn't hear you." And he's like, "Dude, I was shouting at you from about 5 meters away. You didn't hear me. You looked right at me." He's like, "Oh, I didn't see you. I was just gonna leave. I have things to do." No, he was trying to avoid them. He didn't want anything to do with an interview with police investigating, his ex-partner's homicide. So that's him today. That's what he looks like. They did interview him, and this is how the interview went. It says, investigators retraced Langwell's steps and looked closer at where her car was discovered at the Eckard parking lot. Despite Langwell never entering the pharmacy, they did actually check the surveillance footage from that pharmacy. They do know for a fact that she never entered the pharmacy and never went in or out or never approached the pharmacy because it would have been caught on the security camera. She never went there. They also visited Rose's former residence, which doubled as his wrecking yard business, where one worker reported seeing the victim's car there on July 9th, 1999 at 5:50 p.m. By 6:20 p.m., her car was no longer there, so it had been moved. If Terry killed Kim in his home, he would need to get rid of that car quickly to avoid suspicion. As an experienced wrecker driver, Terry would have access to a tow truck and the skills needed to hook up a car quickly and transport it the short distance to the Echo Shopping Center parking lot. Yeah, he could do that very easily. Make it look like, he's just towing a wrecked car or whatever, and no one would be none the wiser. It says Rose initially told detectives that at the time of Langwell's disappearance, he was home alone before heading to the corner pocket pool hall around 9:45 p.m. The pool hall shared the same parking lot as the Eckerd Pharmacy where Langwell's car was found. That's not odd. That's that seems perfectly natural that you end up in the same place as where your wife's car was dumped and where she supposedly may have gone missing from. Sure, buddy. Sure. They called it one hell of a coincidence. That's right. One hell of a coinky dink. Says here, investigators reminded themselves that Langwell made no mention to her daughter about stopping anywhere else besides Rose's home. Since the pharmacy was off Langwell's regular route, they said they could eliminate the theory that an unknown assailant abducted Langwell. So it has to be someone she knew, right? So it says Siegler and company spoke with Langwell's close childhood friend Ingrid Dunn, as well as Dunn's mother, Essa Randall. They said they're talking about Rose here, he seemed like a very nice guy, but then as time went on, he started getting kind of crazy and possessive. He was just kind of a toxic relationship. She'd finally had enough and she knew it was time to go. Randall, who was like a mother to Langwell, said something similar. She added that Langwell tried to leave him on multiple occasions and that Rose would physically prevent her from walking out the door. He told her all the time, "If you leave me for anybody else, I'll kill you." Randall stated that on July 9, 1999, Langwell called her to say she planned to stop at Rose's house to pick up some of her jewelry and belongings. Randall told Langwell not to go, but she did anyway, allegedly claiming that it'd been some time since she felt pestered by Rose. So she's saying she sort of felt maybe he'd got the picture and it was okay to go there. Maybe he'd accepted that they'd broken up. Apparently not. It says investigators theorize that Rose resented Langwell for using the $500 to go to Cancun with Weatherford and was perhaps triggered by seeing her in the Cancun shirt when picking up her things on the evening of her disappearance. That would be very, frustrating, wouldn't it? You gave money to your ex partner. You thought that would be, for a girls' weekend away. She's a single mom. She deserves a weekend away type thing. And then you find out she took her new guy with her. That's not cool. And then she rocks up at your house wanting her stuff back, and she's wearing a Cancun t-shirt. It says here, It sounds like the perfect storm, signaling to Terry that Kim might have moved on. That may have pushed him over the edge. The team visited Terry Rose, though the suspect kept his answers short and is seen in body cam footage published by Cold Justice. It appeared to detectives that he was trying to dodge them by trying to drive away from his new wrecking yard as investigators approached. Yeah, he was trying to get out of there pretty quick. It says he denied any argument between him and Langwell. He said she wasn't angry or nothing like that. Once we broke it off, I just figured I'd leave her alone. And they all just went, sure, buddy. They were just like, that's exactly what you did, was it? They said, contradicting his 1999 statements where he claimed Langwell visited him to help hang up boards for his home remodeling project. Rose told Cold Justice Langwell stopped by to pick up her belongings. He also denied lending Langwell $500 for a trip to Mexico, which also contradicted the claims of Langwell's sister, Susan. He further denied ever slapping Langwell, opposing former admissions investigators had on record. So that interview went as badly as it could have gone for him. He contradicted his original statement about 5 or 6 different times and changed a bunch of the timeline, and yeah, it did not go well. They end up zeroing in. They come back to the family. This is Susan here, and this is Tiffany. Showed you a photo of them earlier. And they sit them down and they let them know that while they weren't able to get any definitive proof that he had, of where she is, where Tiffany is located, their suspicions and the evidence leads to be that Rose had killed and disposed of her Kimberly Langwell at some point that night, and that he dumped her car in that parking lot. And they feel like he's the only real suspect available in this crime after their investigation, but that they just don't have a ton of evidence. But I'll read their findings to you down below. It says, back at the drawing board, it looked increasingly likely that Rose was their prime suspect. Investigators believe McCormick remained cooperative with authorities and had a strong alibi for the night of the disappearance. He was cleared as a suspect. Terry Rose alternatively had the greatest motive of anybody who exists. According to investigators, it seemed Rose could have been triggered by Langwell's new romance and his footing the bill for their Mexican getaway, which was enough for BPD investigators to submit the case to the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. They felt optimistic that the case could go before a grand jury. Langwell's body has never been found. Yes, so that's the follow-up, that they need to put it before a grand jury. They don't have enough to outright lay charges against him because they don't have a body. It's a circumstantial case. And they did say they have to do a little more work with the case. They need to tie a couple more things down before it probably goes to grand jury. But the daughter of Kimberly and her sister were very happy that someone had come to them and at least named a person of interest. They said in 25 years, no one had ever come to them and named an actual person that was responsible for her mother's disappearance. Not once. They were like, oh, they sort of said they might have had some people of interest and, they were still looking into it, but no one had ever come to them and just said, this is the person responsible for your mother's murder and disappearance. And they were very happy to at least have that step, some certainty as to what may have happened to her. And the daughter and the sister took the news fairly well. And this was filmed, I think, late last year. And I'm going to have a quick look. I don't believe I saw anything about indictment from a grand jury. I did have a quick look. Let me just have a look up here. Kimberly Langwell. I don't have anything about a grand jury right now. They may still be working on it, or it could be sealed. Some grand jury indictments are secret, and you won't know about them until later on. That may be the case here. Let me see. I talked for a very long time. Let's have a look. Sorry, everyone. Oh, the picture's still up. Sorry about that. Hey, guys, I'm still here. I didn't disappear. I'm still here. How are you? Let me see what you guys have to say. Danny Mitchell said then she got $500 to travel with another guy. Yep. Maybe. You could be right. Buried her on the property. Danny Mitchell says I was triggered by that. You triggered by the bit about her obtaining money from him to take a trip with a new lover. It is interesting, right? Mamma Mia says, I thought it was a good episode tonight. I think it was one of the stronger episodes of this entire season. This entire season's been a little up and down. I think some episodes were better, some were worse. This one was a really strong episode. I think the one last week about the missing news reporter was also a pretty good one. This is going to be a great season, I think. And they've still got about another 5 episodes to go. It's a long season this time. Normally they stop at episode 6, and I think we're going to get 9 or 10 episodes this year. They're then showing up in the Cancun shirt. That would be very confronting for him. He'd be like, I just gave that money. I just found out she was with another guy. Wait, she doesn't want to ever get back with me. She's out there sleeping with other guys. Like, oh my god, I can see it. It paints a picture. Love is a four-letter word. Says I just want to take a trip. Who wants to sponsor me to Australia? You want to come to Australia? Let me see. Hey Uda, how are you, my friend? Marlon Clausen said it sounded like she had some crazies in her life. 100%. Hey JS the cat, how are you? So I'm going to show you a couple more things from that I was able to grab from the episode. Tomorrow I'll have once I'm able to get the full video, I'll be able to break it down and get some more things from the episode. Literally, I have to watch this live and take screenshots as we go. Where is this? This is one of the Yes, this was the other guy, the creepy coworker's original statement back in 1999. And he's not a suspect, but I thought this was interesting. It says, this is one of the letters he wrote to her. It says, "I want to take you on a trip, maybe to Europe." So this is where he's talking about that trip, how he's going to pay for them to go to Europe, and her and her daughter and stuff like that. He talks about watching your eyes and mouth when I am something. Show your beautiful thing. Apparently the letters were really odd and very creepy. Even for love letters. So there's that original photo from 1999 of his love letters. Let me see if I've got anything else. This is a really sweet photo. This is Kimberly and her daughter Tiffany before she disappeared. At least I believe so. This is her daughter here at when she was like 15, and I think that's her mom. I don't think that's her sister, but this is her when she was younger. I mean, the photos later on, the ones I showed you, it's just such a splitting image of her mom. She really apparently her sister's like every time I look at her, all I see is my sister, and I get it. I get how that is a thing. They look so similar. This is her car, the one they found in the parking lot. Here's a photo of the car. I don't know where they took this or where it was located, or maybe in the police department holding area, but this is the actual vehicle that they recovered. What else do I have? Let me see. Give me a second. All right. Let me see what else I have. I might have a couple more and then we can move on. I have an overview of the area where her car was located. It's from I think it's from today, like this time frame, so it's a little different. This is the parking lot. It is a large block, and I'm not sure where the pool hall was. I think the pool hall might have been back on this back area somewhere, and the pharmacy was up front, or it could be the other way around. They didn't really explain, but I wanted to show you this just to show you that even if the pool hall was all the way back in this back corner, it's still connected through the one car park. So he could have dumped her car in a car space, driven all the way down here, hid in the corner, and stayed at the pool hall, and then kept watching to see if anyone would discover the vehicle that he dumped. He'd have a pretty good line of sight for even through the back of the car park. And, he could monitor it and be like, is anyone looking for her? Has anyone found the car? Has anyone discovered what I've done? That type of thing, giving him a heads up into how long of a time period he might have. Did you? Oh, you can send them if you want, or have you already sent them to me? Oh, you want me to go to your channel? Okay, I'll have a. Oh, yes, the videos of you and your friend and the horse. Yes, I remember. She was a creep magnet. A lot of good-looking women are. Oh, that's good advice, Sean. Thank you. That you may have to close the chat button to see the thumbs up. I would think so. I would think he did. I would think he killed her at his property slash towing place. Had to dispose of the car very quickly because otherwise people would be like, "Hey, I saw her car. It was here at like 7 p.m." And I think he took the car to whatever was the nearest parking lot that was far enough away from his property to avoid suspicion. Dumped it there, then probably just drove and parked in the corner and went into the pool hall and just stayed there until someone discovered the vehicle and maybe slipped out of the car park later on. Trisha has a job for me, does she? She always has a job for me. Is she here in the chat? Hey, little Miss Sharon. Hey, good. Hi from Australia. Good to have you. Thank you. I'm happy that you're here. Trish has a job for me. Is anyone going to explain what that job is exactly? I mean, Trish always has jobs for me. It's the true crime and cat show. My God, that's all right. They're all right now. They just get a bit excited. The sound's on, I think. I think the Thoris's channel name will literally be the Thoris. Hold on, let me see if I can. Oh, I can't do it from in here. Oh, that is very kind of you. Thank you. I appreciate you just finding the channel. It's mainly for the Thoris. Okay, well, she can contact me. The Thoris has my email. We've spoken many times. You love seeing the cats. What we're gonna do is I'm actually after we get off the air here tonight, I'm hanging Reeby's poster thing on the back here. We finally got the new uh sticky tabs to hang it up, the ones that hold like 8 pounds on each tab. So it should hold it, and we should have the new background up for tomorrow. We're also looking at maybe getting a cat lounge so the cats can lie in the corner here and you'll see them on the cat tower. So they'll hang out on the cat tower in the corner, and that might keep them occupied during the show so they don't become annoying. So we'll see. Where is Muffin? I don't know. That Rory was here before, and Muffin's, I think he's in the window. He likes to sleep in the window during the day. He likes the sunshine. All right. We can't talk about animals all night because we're already running late tonight. So we have to keep going with the true crime. So I hope you enjoyed uh, that bit of a, I don't know what you call it, a little bit of a review of tonight's episode of Cold Justice. And all I can say is I really do hope that there are charges coming for the killer and person who disposed of her remains, for Kimberly Langwell. I mean, 25 years is a long time. Her family deserves some first step of justice. It just has to be that little first, hey, we have someone here, we're going to try some charges, we think we have a good case, you know, 25 years of nothing is torture for a family, especially when they don't have a body. At least a grand jury indictment might be, you know, some form of answers, the truth, something. And they deserve that very much. So we'll keep an eye on it. Hopefully, we'll see that in the future. I think there's more than enough evidence here myself. And I think they could build a pretty good case. Be great if they could find her, if they could figure out where she is. That would make it even stronger. But yeah. All right. Let's look at our daily true crime. I have a few things for you that I um, put away overnight last night. Let me grab my list of stories. Whoops. There we go. What do we have? Aha. I wanted to show you this, and I thought you guys might get a kick out of this. Let me put this here. Department of Health warns against picking deadly death cap mushrooms. This came out the other day. It says deadly mushrooms, including the notorious death cap, another virtually indistinguishable from store bought mushrooms, are on the rise. Are they really? No, I would never have guessed. Um, it says deadly mushrooms, including the notorious death cap and another fungi that is virtually indistinguishable from safe store bought mushrooms, are on the rise. Poisonous mushrooms grow in Victoria over autumn. It's autumn right now. Health authorities said on Friday, warning anyone who picks wild mushrooms is at risk of serious illness or death. It comes after the death of three people who had eaten a meal allegedly containing death cap mushrooms in Leongatha last year. The accused cook was later charged with murder. Yeah, but I don't think that's exactly what happened. I don't think she went out for a nice afternoon stroll and was like, oh, I found some great wild mushrooms. Let me cook these up for the people I love. And then they just died. I think it was a little more premeditated. I think we have a bit more premeditation on this one. It says Friday's alert issued by the Chief Health Officer, Dr. Evelyn Wong, said it was impossible to make the mushrooms safe to eat, and cooking, peeling, or drying them will not remove or inactivate the poison. They said there is no home test available to distinguish safe and edible mushrooms from poisonous mushrooms. Mushrooms purchased from a supermarket, greengrocer, or other reputable sources are safe to eat. Here's a naughty mushroom growing out under a pine tree, chestnut tree, some sort of tree that has these things. And it says consuming one death cap mushroom can kill an adult. It says she warned death cap mushrooms are so poisonous, just one is enough to kill an adult. Symptoms include eating beef Wellingtons. No, sorry. Symptoms include violent stomach pains, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, but people can die even after these symptoms pass from serious liver damage. She said the yellow staining mushroom was responsible for the most fungi poisonings in Victoria and can cause nausea, stomach cramps, diarrhea, and vomiting. People should urgently attend emergency department if they believe they have eaten poisonous mushroom. They should also take any remaining beef Wellington with them for identification. Sorry, that does not say beef Wellington, it says mushrooms. Take mushrooms with you for identification, not beef Wellington. I'm sorry about that. It says, in most cases, the sooner treatment can begin, the better the outcome. Do not wait for symptoms to occur before seeking medical attention. She said anyone with pets should remove mushrooms from their garden while wearing gloves before their pets have a chance to eat them. Dogs are more likely than cats to ingest mushrooms. And it says how to spot yellow staining mushroom. It says looks very similar to regular store and wild mushrooms, more common in urban areas than edible mushrooms, and can grow in large groups on the lawns of, homes in the area. It says how to spot a death cap mushroom. I got many jokes, you know. Look for look for suspicious beef Wellingtons. No, grows under oak trees, cap 40 to 160 millimeters in diameter. Cap can be pale yellow green to olive brown. Ridges on underside of cap are white, while the base of the stem has a membrane cup. Keep that in mind while eating any food prepared by other people. Look for the membrane cup. But yeah, I thought you guys might get a bit of a kick out of this thing. But it is a serious topic. Unless you know what you're doing, do not eat wild mushrooms. And even if you do know what you're doing, get a second opinion from someone that someone else. It reduces your risk of self poisoning. Vegans should eat mushrooms for iron. Hmm. Green Eyed PI says, "Hey, Ping in chat. Hey, good to see you." On the rise by 3. That's right. Just stay away from all exes' houses. Yes. Within about 3 days, they most of them succumbed to their injuries by about the 72-hour mark, I think, or at least by the 72-hour mark, they were in hospital and getting quite sick to the point where I don't think it was recoverable. I don't think they could save them. One of them was lucky with a full liver transplant. He was able to live, and he is now back in the community, and he is now back doing his church work. He's a pastor at a church, and he's back in the community, which is great. And that is really cool to see that he made a full recovery. He's the lucky one out of the 4, and yeah. So there you go. There's a little update from Victoria. JS the cat, where are you, my friend? JS the cat says it's mushroom season. We are off next weekend to pick some near Oberon in New South Wales. That'll be fun. You mean the magic kind or the ones that you eat, like the ones you cook and eat? Or are you talking about the ones you dry and eat? The ones that turn blue. Which ones are you going to go pick? I'm suspicious now. You picking the ones that when you break the stem, they go blue? I'm watching you, JS the cat. Off for a trippy weekend, are you? All right, hold on. Let me pull up our other story for the night. I want to know too. Did anyone successfully get Oxygen Channel to work on their free to air TV? If anyone was able to successfully do that in the US, let me know because I would be keen to know if it actually works or not. Yes, it could be. Little Miss Sharon says, I live in Victoria. The mushroom murderer is about 1 hour. You mean you live 1 hour away from Leongatha, or you're 1 hour away from the Dame Phyllis Frost Correctional Center? Because I'm about 1 hour away from the Dame Phyllis Frost Correctional Center. If you live in Melbourne, you're probably about an hour away from where she is. I don't know. I think it's the toxins. The mushrooms contain toxins, and that's what hurts you. The different types of toxins. Some of them are very deadly to humans and shut down our systems or damage our internal organs. Because what happens is when our body digests it and it goes through our system can't process it, and it keeps trying to send it through over and over and over. And each time it does that, it damages the system constantly. And that's how you get quite ill because your body can't clear it from your system properly. Yeah. So people end up getting very ill. All right, let me pull up a new story. I hope you enjoyed the story about Kimberly, though. I know a lot of true crime stories, and I can't say that I had ever heard of Kimberly before. So that was a good one for me. All right, we're in Massachusetts. Let me play this for you. Oh, it's just a crime scene one? Okay. It says a 20-year-old man is facing charges after his 17-year-old girlfriend was found dead inside a central Massachusetts home. The suspicious death occurred Friday at a home on Great Road in Stow. The Middlesex County District Attorney's Office and Town Police Chief said in a joint news release. It says Stow police were called to the home around 4:30 p.m. for a well-being check. According to police, Shane Curry, 20, met with authorities when they arrived at the home, but refused to let police officers inside for approximately 2 hours. When police were able to get inside, they found Navia Goddard, 17, who had also lived inside the home, dead. Police identified Goddard as Curry's girlfriend. Curry was taken into custody and transported to an area hospital for evaluation, according to police. And according to authorities, Curry was arrested and charged with assault and battery on a household or family member and assault and battery causing serious bodily injury. Curry was expected to be arraigned on Monday in the Concord District Court. An autopsy was set to be conducted to determine the cause and manner of death. The Middlesex DA's office said additional charges are possible. Let me try and find an actual video for you on this. Here, NBC Boston. Let's have a look. Come on.
To find out how a 17-year-old over in Stow ended up dying, but investigators are saying her death is suspicious. Her body was found inside a house on Great Road last night. Police say her 20-year-old boyfriend, Shane Curry, wouldn't let them inside the house. But after a few hours, they finally got in the house and found the body of Navia Goddard. An autopsy is being done right now, and Curry was arrested. He'll be in court on Monday.
There you go. Basically what I just told you, but in video format. Hold on. Why is this just spinning? Come on. These things take forever. All right. We might have to do this. Hold on. There we go.
Right now, we're waiting to find out how a 17-year-old over in Stow.
There we go. All right. It says here the 17-year-old girl was found dead at a home in Stow, Massachusetts on Friday afternoon. Police were called to conduct that well-being check that we heard about. Her boyfriend has been arrested for assault. Hey guys, hold on. We had a technical difficulty. If you guys just heard me go, F this, F that, there you go. That's why. What happened is the cat was being fed some food. She ran across out of here, jumped on the computer, hit the power button on the computer, and shut down my computer. So all of a sudden, I had nothing. My whole screen went black, and it just started shutting down. And I'm like, "Oh my god, how did you turn off a computer? We're gonna have to teach you to turn on lights." So no, I'm still here, guys. I promise. Um, Little Miss Sharon says, "Ping, are you following the Sebastian Rogers case?" Yeah, we've been following it for a while, but we stopped covering it recently because it's starting to get a little murky. with some of the information being released, and like I just don't get how that helps get Sebastian home. Like some of this other kind of details that are coming out. Once we find Sebastian, work out what happened to him, then we can deal with some of this other kind of innuendo and rumor. Just got to find the kid. Once we find the kid, we can do other things. There's other crimes that have been committed or whatever. Great. You can charge people with that later on. The big focus here is finding Sebastian. And I just not a huge fan of some of the I don't know, some of the rumors and speculation and innuendo that is coming out about Sebastian right now. It's you know, I've heard things like, now take this with a giant thing of salt. His father, Seth, had come out saying that Sebastian had been sexually assaulted at a young age by an older boy. Then there was other rumors that had come out from another side of the family that, well, no, Sebastian's actually been now, after he was sexually abused, he's starting to exhibit these type of behaviors on other people, possibly his stepfather's daughter when she visits, and a lot of this stuff is either not helpful or like sort of it's verifiable because it comes from some family members, but it's just I'd rather it come from the police. Like if the police come out and say, well, these were facts and it led to this, at least then we have something to go off. But right now it feels like it's just a big whirlpool of random tidbits that are coming from all different sides of their family, and it's hard to know what we should really be doing with that information, and is it something we can rely on. It makes my job difficult because I want to bring you the latest that's coming out. I just don't know how far we're supposed to tread. A lot of other channels don't care. They'll bring you every little thing they read on Twitter, but I just don't. I won't do that. I want to be able to verify that information. Now, I know some of it did come from his stepfather, so it is verified in that way, but yeah. I appreciate that, JS the Cat and JoJo. I watch them sometimes. Depends who they're having on. I watch them for when they did the stuff on the Mushroom Lady. When she did her original interview, but I think a lot of us knew as soon as we saw that interview where she's standing in front of the car, we knew there was something off. Like our hinky meters all went "Tugga, tugga, tugga." Like there was something really weird about that interview, and the fact she kept going, "I'm so devastated. I keep wiping my eyes, but I don't have any tears. I'm just so devastated at the loss of 3 family members." And then she named a fourth one. She was like, "I'm devastated at the loss of whatever the pastor's name is." She's like, "I'm devastated that he died." And they're like, "Psst, he's still alive. He's in hospital." "Oh, yes, that's right. No, he's going to recover. I hope he does." There was something very odd about that interview. And that was the thing that set me off on that whole, uh, Aaron Patterson murder thing. It was the weirdest, most bizarre interview I've seen conducted of a potential suspect. Yeah, that's the feeling that I got from it, Kathy, is that it's not helpful in finding Sebastian, and these other details can be done later on once we get or find out where Sebastian is. Do you know what I mean? If there is sexual abuse here, fine. It's not a good thing. It's a very bad thing. We can deal with it after. If there's sexual abuse that's been committed on Sebastian, yes, we can deal with that later too. We can hold people accountable or whatever. But the main thing here is to bring that kid home, find that boy and bring him back to his guardian, whoever that is, whether that's Seth or whatever, I don't care. Just bring him back to the people that will care for him. That's it. That's all I care about. Ah, I have the same issues in the Summer Wells case. I don't talk about Summer very often. A few times a year, I'll bring up her poster and say she's still missing. Someone out there knows something. If you have information, please call it in, because I just don't want to get into that whirlpool of, like, that case got really disgusting for a while, and when I worked with Trish, I was in the middle of it a little bit and I saw what could happen, and it didn't scare me. It just showed me how sometimes these cases can get really out of hand. And the Summer Wells case went from literally 0 to 150 miles per hour in about 2 weeks. It just went from nothing to like a tornado of stuff very, very quickly. And it's 2 years after that point or whatever now, and we still don't have Summer Wells back. So all that stuff that happened didn't do shit. It didn't bring her back. It didn't help. It didn't bring any suspects. It didn't do anything. So that shows to me that it wasn't worth our time in talking about all that rubbish, because it didn't bring her home. I just want these little kids to come home. So Jojo says the mushroom lady seemed to me like she was taking medication and couldn't keep her facts straight. They showed medication bottles in her home in the photos. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're going to find out some really interesting stuff when the brief of evidence is handed to court in about, well, it was handed to the judge about 10 days ago, but she's due back in court early May. And I think we're going to find out the basis and structure of how they're going to uh, prosecute her with these three murder charges, 5 attempted murder charges. And I think we're going to find out the outline of the allegations against her. And then we might even find out what her defense is going to be. And that is going to be a very interesting day. I'll probably be on all day that day on May. What was it? May. Just let me find out. May. Aaron Patterson due back in court. May 3rd. So on May 3rd, I'm probably going to be on all day. I'm not. We looked at heading to court in Latrobe Valley, which I think is where she's supposed to be on May 3rd, but we can't do it. It's in Morwell. So I'll cover it online that day. But if and when she heads to maybe Supreme Court, they're saying that they could take that to Melbourne City. And I'm hoping they do, because that's pretty close for me. I can get into the city in about half an hour. We'll actually be at the court. I'm actually going to head into the courthouse for her trial, whenever that is. I don't know if we're going to get it in 2024. I don't know if it's going to be early 2025, but whenever it is, we will be there. Marlene Clausen said, so many people would be better in just saying goodbye and walking away if someone doesn't want to be around you. So be it. Yeah, I 100% agree. All right, should we get one more story for the night? Hey, I appreciate your support and your nice comments, and glad to have you in the chat. It's very nice. I love drawing in more Australians. Whatever. But I like my Australian viewers, because I feel like we go through a lot of stuff together as Aussies. Let me grab you another story we'll do one more for the night. I just wanted to come on and at least do our Cold Justice episode, because it was a good episode. You know, I don't have anything about that woman. You know, the woman that was went missing in Spain? That's crazy. It's like 2 months later, no update. I don't think we have anything new. There's Anna Kinezevich. We don't have anything new about her. I'm just having a quick look. Past week. But no, I don't have any update, and I don't have any update on the missing woman in Oklahoma. Victoria, Veronica Butler and Kelly, Jillian Kelly. I don't have anything. Yeah, no update in that one anyway. See here, I know people yesterday were saying that there was an arrest made. There was no arrest. Yeah, OSBI, no arrest made in case of two missing Kansas women. From what I understand is there may have been someone brought in for questioning, and that was it. There was no arrest. That was some sort of internet rumor. It says foul play is suspected in the disappearance of 2 Kansas women whose vehicle was found abandoned in the Oklahoma Panhandle last weekend, authorities said Friday. Veronica Butler, 27, and Jillian Kelly, 39, of Hugoton, Kansas, were driving to Oklahoma to pick up Butler's children to attend a March 30 birthday party in Kansas, but never showed up. Tom Singer, the pastor of the church Butler attended, says here, Hunter McKee, an Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation spokesperson, said investigators believe foul play led to the woman's disappearance based on what was found in their vehicle. McKee declined to say what evidence was found in the vehicle, citing the continuing investigation. Singer did not immediately return phone calls for comment Friday morning. McKee said the abandoned vehicle was found by Texas County deputies and referred additional questions to Texas County Sheriff Matt Boley, who did not immediately return call for comment. But yeah, there you go. OSBI, no arrests made in the missing Kansas women. So if you're hearing that, that is no. Yeah, I think it's got to be blood, spent casings, like spent bullet casings, something like that, smashed window, something crazy. I don't know where Woos is. I know that she was unwell a little while ago. I don't have an update whether that is still continuing, but you'd have to refer all your questions to either Woos or Nanalana and ask her. But as far as I understand, she'll be back here when she can be here. That's what I was told from Nanalana. So all I can say is I hope she's okay. I hope she's recovering. Same with Beth B. I haven't seen Beth B in about 2 weeks, and I don't know what's going on there because she's the loveliest lady and I miss her a lot. So I hope she's doing okay. Yes, I think yes. I think they went, it was sort of like well, I showed you those documents the other night. She's scared of her ex stepmother. Like she's petrified of that woman, and that woman is hyper controlling, and kept her children, which are her grandchildren, basically in her own custody for many months against a court order. So there are some big custody issues involving in this particular case. And I think we're going to find out a lot more. Yes, I did that story last night. I hate mornings. Did you not get it? I actually did that one yesterday. Did they identify her yet? They said that she's in hospital but unresponsive, and they haven't been able to get any ID of her. But she was found bound on a riverbank in Mississippi. Is that right? That's a pretty brutal story. All right, let's see if we have. They still don't know who she is. That's brutal. What was she doing there? Who bound her? Who bound her by the wrists and legs? I mean, I know. Very odd, Jojo. Oh, South Carolina. Sorry. I knew it was somewhere in the South. Let's have a look. Woman found on banks of river. No, that's not Jasper County. That's the wrong one. It's this one. Deputies still unsure of identity of woman found bound and unresponsive on South Carolina riverbank. And apparently it's in the rural town of Grays. It says no information is being shared about the woman's condition or her injuries, but the JCSO statement did say that deputies responded to the location in a reference call of a white man on the side of the riverbank. And it wasn't until they got closer that they realized it was actually a woman, and she was bound and very injured, apparently. The unresponsive woman is now being treated at a local hospital, according to the JCSO. It's been 2 days since deputies discovered this woman, but her identity remains a mystery. Yeah. Yeah, they don't know who she is or how she got there. Very, very bizarre. Someone obviously put her there because if she was bound, there's no way she could put herself there. All right. All right, my lovely friends. I think we're going to wrap up for the night. I want to read out Joe's message very quickly. Joe sent in that donation last night, and Joe said, "Hey Ping, sending a donation for the time and great work you're doing." Joe, thank you very much. That is very, very sweet of you. I know that Moon Shadow also had a message. I can't remember if I read it out at the start of the show, but I want to say thank you to her too. If I can find it. Let's see. Oh, yes. She says, always listening to your show. It's my favorite one. Moonshadow, that is very, very sweet of you. And I also want to thank my friend Laura T. Laura T says, thank you so much for all you do for us. No, guys, thank you. Without the great viewers and supporters of this channel, I wouldn't have a channel. So everything that happens on this channel is because of you guys, not because of me. And I am more than thankful and lucky enough to have such great viewers, great commenters. It really is a privilege, and I love being here every night for everyone. So I hope we can do many more shows, including tomorrow night. We'll be back, hopefully at 9 o'clock. This will be very interesting at 11 a.m. I'm going to see how this goes, and we'll see how painful it is to jump on air so early in the morning for me. And yeah, we'll see. We'll play it by ear. I think it'll be all right. It'll just take some getting used to. Appreciate all you guys and your support. Kathy Lynch says you work hard to provide crime stories for us. We appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys as well. Last night's episode was very interesting. I liked last night's show. We got to talk to you about a story from Parramatta in Sydney, Australia. And it was about a woman who was stabbed walking home on the phone with her husband. Very interesting case. It is a cold case, and there is no arrest in that particular case. Oh, hey, see you later. I'm going to. I'm wrapping up, little Miss Sharon. Thanks for being here. I'll see you guys tomorrow night, okay? Love you all. Peace out.